I'm Coach Miller, and welcome to All Marine Fighter, our Aftermath edition of the Day of Reckoning. A massive DAZN card that just took place. We're going to analyze the various fights, both the good and the negative, because there's a lot of both that happened. Well, you got 10 fights, so there's a lot of things. But let's talk about this in this video. First, I have to say that I was very excited for this card. Man, that Saudi Prince, he put all that money together, put this massive card. Wow, I was super excited. A lot of top heavyweights, almost all top heavyweights, except for a few. Be able to get everybody together. And there wasn't any belt on the line. Well, there was one belt on the line, but it was for light heavyweight. It was Bivens' belt, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But either way, what a great card. What a great show. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you, DAZN, for that. Now, the first fight was Frank Sanchez versus Junior Fa. You know what? Junior Fa was coming off a loss, and Frank Sanchez has had a very lackluster career. The guy has so much potential, but I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he has personal issues or whatever else, but he is so good. He has so much potential, but his career's just been lackluster, and you know he's not getting any younger though either. Next fight was Hrgovic versus Demori. You know what? On paper, this fight is going to look good. Why? Well, Demori had like 42 wins and like 2 losses, right? Hrgovic was 16-0. But you could tell there was a major class difference between the two fighters. Hrgovic is a former Olympian, top IBF ranked heavyweight. And Demori looked like he fought 40 bums, literally. So you saw a massive class difference in the very first round, and ultimately Demori will get knocked out in the first round. It's kind of a stay busy fight for Hrgovic because he's the IBF mandatory for the Tyson Fury and Usyk fight that's going to take place. And of course, whoever wins that is going to get stripped of the IBF if they do the rematch, because there's supposed to be a rematch clause between them. But either way, the IBF is going to strip them because the mandatories do, which is Hrgovic. The next fight was Obeda versus Zorro. Now, on paper, this also looked really good. Great fighters. I think this is for the cruiserweight division. Round 1. I mean, before I go further for the fight, I got to tell you that Zorro, I believe is a European fighter. He's not bad. Pretty crisp. Good technique. He's got kind of a big frame, so he had a little bit of awkward movement, but it was okay. No, it was not too bad. He's trying to work his way up the ladder, but the favorite was Obeda, and he was very crisp, very sharp, in title contention. He looked like it. This too would be a knockout, very fast, overhand left, and it was absolutely beautiful. Put Zorro down. Obeda just kind of stood over him, did the Ali thing, looking over his opponent as he's knocked out. Zorro was out clean. You can check my short clip videos. I have actually a short video of the knockout. It's pretty crazy and intense. Next fight after that was Makhmudov versus Agit Kabayel. Now, this fight was interesting because Makhmudov was touted as the Russian Mike Tyson and whatever. And so I'm thinking to myself, oh, dude, this... And you can see the height difference. Like, the ring ropes will typically come to about my back, my shoulder blades. I'm 6 foot. So Makhmudov towered over everything, and Agit wasn't even that tall, So I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be a bad day for Agit. I don't know. But when the fight started, I was actually very surprised because Makhmudov had this very clumsy movement, very awkward. Now, you can see that when he threw his punches, he threw them with mean intention, but his movement was very clunky, very awkward. Agit took the approach that he was just going to box him. Just stay on the outside, boom, boom, hit him. Started laying those body shots too. Round 3 would be a major turnaround where Agit would turn up the body shots. And this, he could see Makhmudov flinch with his eyes every time he took that body shot. And so he didn't lay off him. He went after the body. In round 4, Adjit laid on a nasty body shot that dropped Makhmudov, put him down. And it was kind of funny because one of the co-hosts, he made the mention that, yeah, body shots make cowards of us all. Well, isn't that the truth? Makhmudov, you could tell that he did not train very well for this fight. Disappointing. His body was not conditioned, and Adjit laid it to him. Now, good job on Adjit, by the way. He's a top-ranked fighter, too, and he has a lot of potential, so great IQ, knowing where to go to take his opponent out, considering that he's the one that's supposed to lose, right? He had nothing to lose, but it kind of sucks, when everybody's talking about this guy, he's going to knock you out, and you got to come in there and do something about it. Well, good on him. Adjit will go after Makhmudov and eventually end the fight due to knocking him down with body shots. It was beautiful. And I have to say that apparently the word on the street is Adjit is the one that sparred Anthony Joshua the day that he lost to the fight that he fought Andy Ruiz. And so apparently he's the one that concussed Anthony Joshua and had him all kind of loopy, kind of weird, That was Adjit. That's interesting. That's the word on the street. I want to see what's going to happen with this guy. I think Adjit's out of Germany or something like that. So, we'll see what happens with him in the future. Now we have Dubois and Jarrell Miller. Miller got caught being a drug cheat, and, well, he actually came back, won a few fights, came back onto the list. So Dubois was coming off a loss to Usyk. I think Usyk pretty much stole that man's heart and was able to knock him out. So this was a good comeback fight for Dubois and Miller at the same time. So the fight began. I got to tell you, it was back and forth, but you could start to see that Jarrell Miller was starting to slow down. Now, he is a massive man. That man is almost 400 pounds. He's just this massive dude, massive frame. And Dubois was looking real lean, muscular, typical Dubois look. And I look at guys like that and I go, ooh, man, you want to get hit by a dude that muscular, that's going to hurt. But anyways, Dubois took his toll on Miller, and in the last round was able to actually pull off the upset and knock off Miller. What a great comeback, and what a great confidence builder for Dubois to get him put back into the talks of getting mandatory shots. Then you have Dimitri Bivol versus Arthur. This was going to be for his WBA light heavyweight belt, and I got to tell you that the commentators were not being very fair to Bivol. Bivol is a strong fighter. Bivol has knocked plenty of dudes out, but this fight, he was really laying it to Arthur, and Arthur didn't go down. So this fight was going to ultimately go to decision. And the commentators were kind of criticizing Bivol, saying, why can't he get him out of there, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, come on, not everything's going to be a knockout. Maybe Arthur just had a strong chin, So anyways, I thought Bivol looked really sharp, really, really sharp. Technique-wise, punch combinations, everything. I thought he looked really, really sharp. So nothing to take away from Bivol whatsoever. I'm looking forward to Beterbiev and Smith and the outcome of that. So hopefully Bivol and the winner of that fight will come together and have an undisputed for light heavyweight. That's going to be outstanding. So this is a nice mandatory / stay busy fight for Bivol. He caught the victory with a unanimous decision, and hey, that's great on him. Then you have Wilder versus Parker. I am disappointed. I'm disappointed in Wilder. He didn't throw any punches. Joseph Parker, it's not like he came out and just dominated Wilder. He just basically threw a few more punches to actually win the fight. I mean, there was a few combinations that he threw and really nailed Wilder. That was okay. It was good, not too bad, but it's not like he did a whole lot to dominate Wilder or whatever to show that, oh, wow, look at me, I'm such a great fighter. It's just that Wilder didn't throw any punches. Man, seriously, ever since the Tyson Fury fight, and then he went on that ayahuasca thing, look, you start doing ayahuasca and stuff like that. I mean, look, that stuff will chill you out. It'll take the fire out of you. You know, he's got so much ahead of him as far as fights. You know, it just looked like he's done. It looks like he didn't really want to fight. His movement looked okay. I mean, he was actually a little bit lighter on his feet. I was like, okay, not bad. And there's maybe a couple points in the fight where there was just a flash of what he potentially could have done. But I know as a fighter what that look is, or that action sort of say. I know what that is. It's the loss of fire. Your heart's not really super in it anymore. And so, you know, you've made all this money, you've done all these things. He did sign a fight apparently with supposedly anyways to fight Anthony Joshua, the winner of both of these fights that night. But I'm not sure if that's still going to go now or whatever else. But he will lose a unanimous decision to Parker, and it's like, seriously, like, Wilder, what in the world? Ultimately, you know what? I hope Wilder and Joshua still fight. I think it would be a tragedy that if those two never fought. I mean, they're in the same division. They never fought same time. You know, we can look back in history of fighters that, you know, that just didn't fight, and it's kind of a, you know, a tragedy of boxing. But hopefully they do fight. But still, it just wouldn't have the same hype, the same, you know, oomph to it. You know, Wilder better get it together, because we're going to talk about the last fight, the main event, Anthony Joshua, and boy, did he look good. I want to talk about Anthony Joshua versus Otto Wallin. Wallin is a very tough dude, but Joshua came out with a fire. Right away, Joshua came out and started laying it to Wallin, but Wallin started pushing back. I got to tell you that Wallin, I'm surprised. He's a lot more talented than people gave him credit for. It wasn't an overall domination to where there was just some sort of class difference or whatever else, like, you know, with journeyman and top competitor, champion fighters or whatever. I thought Wallin really put Anthony Joshua to task on various aspects, but Joshua just looked crisp. He looked really, really good. This is probably the best I've seen him in the last several fights, actually. He looked really, really good. Championship level, like top championship levels, like he got it back. So he would beat Wallin and just kind of not only win almost every single round, but he bloodied him up too. So it was a definite conclusion that ultimately Joshua would stop him in 5, but I think up until that point, Wallin was doing rather well. I think there was that he has potential. People can count him as a journeyman, but, you know, or just below championship level. I thought he did okay. He has potential, but Joshua just came out with a fire and would end up stopping him. So great on Joshua. I want to see what's going to happen with him next. He might fight Wilder next. I don't know. And if that's the case, if they do end up fighting, which I hope they do in March, because there's going to be a long layover, because Tyson Fury and Usyk got a fight coming up, but then they have that rematch clause, and or if they don't take the rematch clause, the winner, they got to fight the IBF mandatory. So that's at least another year almost. So Joshua's going to have to get another fight, so he might as well fight Wilder and make some money and whatever. But Wilder better watch out. He better come with his A game, because Joshua's looking really, really good. And I don't know if Wilder's going to walk away from that one. I don't think there's going to be a unanimous decision for this one. So I guess we'll find out what happens. That was the Day of Reckoning card. And I got to tell you, DAZN did a really good job with that. And that Saudi Prince putting that oil money to work, baby. Come on. But either way, what a great day of boxing. And we saw a lot. It was about 8 hours worth of boxing. I really enjoyed myself. And I'll definitely be looking forward to the next card. If you like these videos, go and click that like button. Of course, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Until next time, stay motivated.